All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. It's time for the Rooting Guide post-mortem. Admittedly, I made a video earlier this morning that kind of covered a lot of this ground, but I know some people like to look at this stuff from a different perspective, and I know some people like the Rooting Guide post-mortem, so I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. If you watch this morning's video, though, you probably have a pretty good idea of where things sit for Seattle at the moment, so, I mean, call it optional extra study, I guess. So let's look at last week's games. We're gonna go, I think, a little bit quicker because we already had that video this morning, but this video gives me the opportunity to talk about something like the Thursday night game, where even though it didn't really affect Seattle's playoff chances, I was very happy with this result because Dallas is basically done now. They would need a miracle to make the playoffs, and Detroit has a pretty decent chance now. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. So I know this stuff is kind of hard, right? Because I'm sitting here and saying Dallas was a lot more dangerous than Detroit as a playoff team, even though we just watched Detroit beat Dallas by 2 touchdowns. But there was a reason why I was warning people about this Cowboys team, and just because they lost this game, a game where, by the way, one of their receivers got hurt, and then the other receiver decided he didn't feel like playing for some random reason. That doesn't change the fact that they were a threat, and now they're kind of not. Dallas has very, very low odds at the playoffs now, so don't have to worry about them. And again, if Detroit gets in, which they have a decent chance of doing, I think they're dead men walking because they are so beat up in ways that they can't really recover from. So I think they would just make it and then get plastered in round 1 if I had to guess. So that one was great, and that's something that you talk about in a video like the postmortem. Other than that, going through some of the Sunday things, the Titans getting the win is actually kind of nice. Remember, the Browns lost to the 49ers, so strength of victory, strength of schedule stuff, that actually kind of mattered a little bit here because we're the team that played and beat the Titans, and the Niners are the team that played and beat the Browns. Now, the Niners are going to beat the Titans too, but we're not going to play the Browns, so we don't. It pushes things slightly in the right direction. Commanders, Vikings, again, we played and beat both of these teams, so there wasn't a ton going on here. It was kind of just a matter of which team you think is more likely to maybe score some upsets at the end of the year. Like Minnesota plays Green Bay in the last game of the week. It would be great if Minnesota would knock them off, probably. I imagine that would be favorable for Seattle, but that would be hard. But them winning a game like this, maybe it helps build momentum. I don't know. I don't know. Dolphins, Jets, nothing here. Saints, Buccaneers is really interesting. So on the surface, this is really good. The Buccaneers, an NFC playoff team that, by the way, beat us and has the tiebreaker on us, has fallen to a really bad Saints team at home. And with the state that the Buccaneers are in right now, they are very, very likely to, or I should say, they're liable to lose to anybody at any time right now. They just lost to Tyler Shock at home. So that's kind of cool. The problem is, at the end of the day, one of those two teams that is currently in contention for it has to win the NFC South. So if Tampa doesn't get in, it just means Carolina's going to get in. And by the way, who would you rather play? Would you rather go to Tampa and play Tampa Bay? Would you rather go to Carolina and play Carolina? Because that's a realistic scenario. Seattle gets the 5 seed. They have to go to Tampa or they have to go to Carolina. I'd rather go to Tampa. So if Tampa keeps losing, I mean, it could work out for Seattle. I'm not against it. There is a part of me that is like, I don't want to go to Carolina, especially because we play Carolina in week 17, and hopefully we win that game, but then we have to go play them again if we do win. Like, you guys kind of get what I'm saying here. That's not ideal. So I like the result, but I'm a little bit wary of the monster that it could create, because that Carolina team hits different when they play at home. Ask the Rams. Rams, generally considered best team in the league. Carolina took care of them at home. So they are somewhat dangerous. Jaguars getting the win was nice, because now at this point, I think we pretty much know the Colts are going to give a free win to pretty much whoever they play the rest of the way, including the 49ers. So we know that we're going to beat the Colts. I think we're all at least very confident we're going to beat the Colts. The Rams already beat the Colts, and the Niners are going to beat the Colts as well. So therefore, the strength of victory thing only comes into play with Jacksonville, because San Fran lost to Jacksonville. So good result. Happy about that. Steelers-Ravens, kind of nice. Again, strength of victory stuff is unlikely to matter, but we may as well push it while we have it. And this was a nice little upset, man. I didn't see it coming at all. I thought Pittsburgh was DOA here, but Mike Tomlin, you can't get rid of him. You can beat him up. You can kick him while he's down. You can say he's a bad coach, which maybe he is, but you can't get rid of him. Broncos, Raiders, nothing there. Bears, Packers. The thing I kept saying all week was we needed the Bears to lose a game eventually. It didn't have to be this game, but I think we were better off with it being this game. Remember, the Packers still have to play the Broncos, and I think they're probably going to get beat down by the Broncos because it's in Denver. So Green Bay is going to lose at least one more game the rest of the way as well, even if they sweep the Bears. So I think this will all work out. So I'm happy about that. Rams, Cardinals, not much to say. I mean, there was no expectation because Arizona is incredibly beat up right now. Texans, Chiefs. Hey, as it turns out, that win that we had against Houston, actually not a bad win. At the time, it looked like Houston was just headed towards a bad season, but look at them go. They're probably a playoff team now. And strength of victory wise, it can only help. So good result. Eagles, Chargers. I kind of broke down why this was a good result for Seattle earlier today, because I know that there's an instinctive reaction to say, how is that game going to matter? The thing that really matters here is that Philly is no longer in contention for the number 1 seed. So if Seattle can win the division, the only team they have to worry about for the 1 seed is Green Bay. Now, again, if Seattle wins out, they don't have to worry about anything. But if they lose one game but still find a way to win the division, which, by the way, is going to be hard, but if they do it, then you don't have to worry about Philly now. They're out of first seed realistic contention. And yeah, playoff picture wise, I mean, look, we're gonna make it. Like, let's be real here. I don't have magical jinxing powers. Seattle is going to make the playoffs. I believe that if the Seahawks beat the Colts this week, it's going to be literally 99.99% or 100% or whatever. So we have moved up after the last week. By the way, this was written before Philly lost last night, so if they redid this, Philly's odds would go down a little bit. Although, honestly, I don't think they would go down that much because Dallas lost as well. So probably not radically different. But in any case, the point I'm trying to make is that if you're thinking about Seattle just being the team that needs to get in, right now it is statistically improbable that they do not make the playoffs. And you can kind of see that we have 5 teams in the NFC that are pretty clearly going to go. And then you've got 2 more spots left for really, I'd say these 3 teams. And then Carolina kind of dangling there. little bit. I don't know. I might boost this percentage a little bit, honestly, because Tampa Bay looks so weak lately. But however you want to put it together, it looks really good right now. You take a look at the playoff standings, things are starting to kind of even out a little bit. It's still a little scary because look at how good the other wildcard teams are. We have a 1-game lead on the 6 seed and the 7 seed. And then we have a 2-game lead on the 8 seed. And there is no 8 seed, by the way. It doesn't exist. It's just you don't make the playoffs. But 2 games with 4 games left is a lot. And Detroit, they still have to play some tougher games. They have to play the Rams. Obviously, we want them to win, but they probably won't. It's definitely something that you look at and you now pretty comfortably go, well, we're going to at least make it. The only kind of annoyance here is that the NFC South winner is going to make the playoffs, Tampa or Carolina. And it doesn't, well, Tampa Bay in particular just feels like, I don't want to say they're dead men walking because there's some of these injured players get back, but they have been playing so bad lately. It doesn't feel like they're going to do much more than just roll over in the first round. Carolina, maybe not, because if they get the home playoff game, they'll probably put up a fight. But big picture, you wouldn't necessarily say they are deserving of a playoff spot. Like, as much as Detroit is beat up, it feels like Detroit deserves a playoff spot more than Tampa or Carolina, but that's just kind of like random stuff to talk about. It doesn't affect the Seahawks in any appreciable way, at least not right now. All right, so there's the rooting guide post-mortem. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Probably one more video coming later today. Probably going to stream on Twitch. Should be the final stream of Banjo-Kazooie when I do it, by the way. So hope to see you guys there. Go Hawks. See y'all soon.